What is good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts for your latest news video. And look, I'm going to say it, man. Can we just get through 1 week, just 1 week, without a fresh injury to add to the long list that is already a mile long? We'll get a couple players back and then we'll get a couple go out on injury. It's just a revolving door. And the new player to add to this list is Enzo Fernandez. And I think the thing that frustrates me the most about this injury, right? So for me, Enzo Fernandez hasn't looked right from the start of the season. At first glance, when I saw him in preseason, first few games of the season, I looked at him and went, he doesn't look fit. He doesn't look fit. He looks like he needs to work a little bit harder in training, maybe have a bit of time out of the team, but he just didn't look ready for the season. And that progressed a few more games in. He still didn't look right. The injury that he's picked up, I don't know if I want to say this correctly. Matt from the Stanford Sink mentioned this on our stream over on the Blue Lounge last night. It's called synovitis. Now, there's a few reasons as to why this injury can occur, but one particular reason, which I think we would all lean to, being that we've seen quite a few players have injury problems. Cole Palmer being the most recent one that's been due to an overuse injury, and I kind of got the feeling that Enzo Fernandez is in the same boat. Because if I look back of how he's performed so far this season, and he has got better the last few games, but he still doesn't look right. And has he been carrying a knock and trying to play through it? And then he's gone on international duty and it's made it worse. And it's basically an inflammation of the knee. It's not something that's going to keep him out for months and months and months, depending on how serious it is. Again, with any injury, once you've got swelling, it's almost impossible to tell the full extent of the injury until the swelling goes down. So that's going to be the first process to get that swelling down. It usually can take anywhere from a few days to, a week or so to get that all down, recovered, and see if it's going to persist. But the frustrating thing is that these international games, and of course, I know every player, the pinnacle for them is to go play international football. It's what all of them dream for. They want to play for big clubs. They want to play for their country, represent their country on the world stage. And I get that. These were friendlies. These were friendlies, man. Unnecessary games. When I saw the list like João Pedro, Caicedo, all these players that were missing international duty, Reece James withdrew because of a precautionary injury, I was happy. And Enzo Fernandez was one of those players that I was crying out to get some rest because I could see it. Him, Caicedo, João Pedro, I could see an injury waiting to happen because they're just playing non-stop football. And I think that's what's occurred with Enzo Fernandez. And he could have missed this, man. And you've got to sort of look into it a bit more in depth. Like, yes, players make these decisions generally themselves, right? So if Enzo Fernandez feels that the injury's not holding him back too much, he feels that he can still play, he will go on international duty. He's not going to stop. But then I have to look at the medical team that's around him, specifically at Chelsea, especially if he's been carrying this knot for a while. What are they advising the players? And you have to question it because we're seeing a lot of players have overuse injuries now, especially through our squad, but not just our squad. It's like through the league because of how many games they're playing. So what are the medical team actually advising these players? Now, it's not due to an overuse injury, and we haven't seen the full details, but I can pretty much put me money on it that it is. When he's at the Argentina camp, are they not looking at this as well? Because they'll have their own medical staff. So someone has got to have picked up that there is maybe a slight issue. He's going to complain to somebody. If they're having him pop painkillers, that immediately, screams problem because you shouldn't have to pop painkillers or take shots to play pain free if there's no problem. So there was obviously something potentially underlying there. That's my thoughts. And why was he not advised not to go to international football? Because the clubs can emphasize on this and stop players from going. They'll have a discussion with the international teams and say, look, for the betterment of the player, we've picked up on this. We don't think he should be coming. And then the international people can go, so look, Enzo, we're not going to take you for this one, and take the decision away from the player in this sense, because again, it's friendlies to protect these players, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, who are picking up these overuse injuries, at least from my perspective. Now, that may not work. That may not be how football is done between the international and the club stage, but there's got to be something done to stop or at least aid players not get this. Now, Enzo Fernandez, unfortunately, because of this injury, it could keep him out for a little bit. But what it is on the positive side is now he's going to have forced rest. He has to rest. There is no other option to make this injury go away, to get the inflammation down. So he's going to have to rest, which is a positive. We do have positives in the fact that Lavia has returned. Hopefully, it's not a one and done. Like he's going to come in for one game and disappear for the next 3 months. I'm hoping Lavia, similar to what Fafana, another player that's come back. The concussion I don't take in. Hopefully Jorgensen is not going to be smacking him up in the future. But it wasn't an injury that kept him out, just concussion. And I hopefully these two players, because we've seen Reece James, has come through the other side. He seems to be playing consistently now. The Liverpool one is a fresh injury. It's not the recurring one that was plaguing him for so long. So he seems to have turned a new leaf and he's on the right path. So hopefully Lavia and Fofana can get on the same road, because I think as a team, we look so much better with Romeo Lavia in the team. 100%. So he's got the opportunity now to get regular minutes. I think Santos will be back after the international break. I've not seen anything damning to say that his injury is super serious, is going to keep him out for longer. So I'm hoping he will be back. So we do have enough cover to allow Enzo to have this rest. There's going to be no need to force him back, even if he's back already from international duty, because I assume he would have flown back to Cobham to get his treatment. I don't want to see him playing against Forest on the weekend. I don't. I want him to have a rest now. Couple of games out, let him rest and let him come back after that. But I do think we have enough, similar with the Cole Palmer situation. I do think we have enough to get through this period to allow these players that are having these overuse injuries to have a break and hopefully come out on the other side and it's nothing serious, because we don't want to have loads of our key players. And Enzo Fernandez is a key player. It's definitely split amongst the fan base at the moment in terms of how much of a key player is. Enzo Fernandez off the ball work is definitely underrated in terms of how much running he does, what he does when we don't have the ball. He definitely needs to be a bit sharper on the ball, but we can say that about a lot of the players this beginning part of the season. But when he was on it, when he was fit, he was one of our most creative players, most goals and assists out of any midfielder, I think in 2025. I'll have to stat check that one. But when he's on it, he does look good. I am one of those people that felt that he needed a time out of the team because he didn't look fit, because he didn't look on it. He tried to play through it. He done all right. But clearly, I think the rest would have been beneficial for him, because I don't think it would have got to this point. But this is where we are. This is where we are. Keep the list open, because I'm pretty sure we're going to see something else happen down the line. At this point, it's almost inevitable. We're getting as many injuries as we are red cards at this point. I've never seen so many red cards so quickly, especially, we're only 7 games in. So it seems to be something that we're accumulating red cards and injuries all at the same time. But for Enzo's sake, I hope it's, once the swelling's gone down, hopefully it's nothing too serious, that he is going to, be back after a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. And then we should have the majority of our players, bar a few, back fully fit, because we've got quite a good run once this international break ends. And I'm feeling like we can get maximum points throughout this run. But we've got to keep all our players fit. That's the only way we're getting through this. We can't be going through these games with, full fullbacks at the back, one midfielder, and just a load of dotted players around to try and make up the numbers. Because at this point, that's the way that it seems to, be heading if the injuries keep continuing the way that they're going. But for now, guys, that is all from me. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think on the Enzo Fernandez injury? What do you think on the medical team? Do you think it's something that should be questioned as to why so many players are picking up injuries, or is it just the fact that they've played so many games and just had not had enough rest? Drop it in the comments below. Let's chat about it. For now, guys, take care of yourselves, and I will catch you all in the next one.